And the busiest travel week of the year is coming up on Thanksgiving week. We're about 2 weeks away, but here on the feed, we're already looking forward to that week. I want to give everybody an idea of what to expect. Have some headlines here for the Thanksgiving Day week. It's a stormier pattern. Now, do we have one big storm or a couple of storms? Either of those scenarios are possible. I'll show you why coming up here using some of the tools that I use on a daily basis to make the forecast here. We're also looking at the snow. If we do see snow, I think it's going to be in the upper Midwest and the northern lakes. Not so much in the Northeast. It's the upper Midwest where I think there's going to be a threat of that on Thanksgiving week. Meanwhile, it could turn wet from the central Gulf Coast states to perhaps the Carolinas with the possibility of showers and thunderstorms. Now, those are kind of the highlights. Let me show you where we're going with Thanksgiving week. I want to start with this. This is Monday, November 24th. Now, this is the European model. You'll see some big differences in the models as I show you the European model and the American model. This is the European model. What this is showing you is a bigger storm. Look what's going on here. You have a slow-moving upper low. This is Monday across the upper Midwest, and watch how it moves as we head into Tuesday evening. What will end up happening? One piece will go here, one will come down here. This keeps much of the southeast and the central, East Coast, somewhat unsettled, at least as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, if this would be right, I think this would clear out, and then a lot of the country would be kind of quiet Wednesday and Thursday, right? Or as we get into Thanksgiving Day, the day before Thanksgiving Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving Day would be more of a quiet day. That's what the European model suggests. Little different, though, on the American model. And this is where long-range forecasting get a little tricky. So here is the European. Watch the American model. This is Monday. Little different here. So instead of an upper low closed up, the American model says, no, you've got a fast-moving storm here that's going to produce some precipitation in the Northeast. That goes by, and then you have another storm across the central part of the United States. This would probably produce snow across the upper lakes, and then you have a third system coming into the West Coast on Thursday. You see that? So Wednesday, you may have some travel delays across New England. There'll be some gusty winds along the eastern seaboard, and then another storm would drop in across the Intermountain West and eventually in the plains Wednesday and Thursday. So the European has one big storm. The American model has three big storms. So where do you go from here? It's a big difference here as you look at this. So again, let's go back. European, one big storm. The GFS, 1, 2, and 3, right? All right, but at this point, I've got to make a forecast for you. And here's what I think we're going to do. I don't think the European's quite right with this, that you have one big slow-moving storm, right? I think it will be segmented a little bit into multiple storms. And I'm not sure the GFS is right that in that this storm, instead of being like this, maybe it's not like this, but it's somewhere in between. And I do think there will be another storm coming into the West Coast as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm going to take a compromise here. So here's the compromise for Thanksgiving week here. What I've done is I can't say anywhere with a definitive statement that travel is going to be good. But let's talk a storm track here from the west to the Midwest to the Northeast. So there could be quite a few travel delays in this area as we head into Thanksgiving Day week, especially now. I may take this down into the Southeast as well. So it's a little in flux for Thanksgiving week, but I think there's at least going to be some delays to talk about as we close in on Thanksgiving. And that's the feed.